Don't leave our children with no fish in their future. Protect our sea. Protect our way of life. Protect the Bahamas. To learn how you can help, find us on Facebook at Bahamas Protected. See the future.
The communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training presents its 4th dynamic season of Ed Table Talk Unplugged. Join us for a series of relevant and provocative discussions with various education stakeholders. Topics include working and in high school, the significance of males on school campuses, and much more. Don't miss these opportunities to be informed and inspired to affect positive change in education. The season begins October on ZNS TV 13.
Nobody can talk about your business or special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio.
Accidents and emergencies are not scheduled life events. When they occur, people are usually caught off guard. It is important during these times, however, to bring certain items with you when you or your relative present to the Accident and Emergency Department. The following items will assist healthcare providers with your specific case: identification, photo ID for registration purposes. Examples include your driver's license, national insurance card, or passport. If you were admitted to hospital prior to your emergency, discharge summary or most recent discharge letter with relevant information regarding prior diagnoses and treatment. A referral letter from the healthcare provider who would have sent you to the emergency department. All your medications and pills prescribed, herbal, or any over-the-counter medication is required. Have a list of all allergies, insurance card when necessary, emergency contact information, an interpreter for foreign nationals when necessary. Bring comfort items, change of clothing, books, iPads, blankets. Bring a list of questions for the medical providers. And of course, bring patience. Having these items on hand can help to minimize anxiety and frustration during your A&E visit. Remember, the best person to manage your health is you.
The communications section of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training presents its 4th dynamic season of Ed Table Talk Unplugged. Join us for a series of relevant and provocative discussions with various education stakeholders. Topics include working and in high school, the significance of males on school campuses, and much more. Don't miss these opportunities to be informed and inspired to affect positive change in education. The season begins October on ZNS TV 13.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Minister for Transport and Housing gives an update on the ministry's rent-to-own housing program. And new developments underway for Rocky Creek East End. Plus, the Abaco Chamber of Commerce expressed concerns over the immigration issue on the island. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping the news, the Minister of Transport and Housing, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, said her ministry is creating a pathway for home ownership for more Bahamians with the ministry's A Place Called Home initiative. The minister gave an update during the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing this morning. Colby Davis also mentioning that the registration period for future home owners is expected to begin next month. Is an initiative birthed through the Ministry of Transport and Housing designed to afford Bahamians a path to home ownership. The Rent-to-Own program is the brainchild of Housing Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, who says her goal is to ensure that Bahamians have the opportunities and resources to live in their dream home.
The Rent-to-Own initiative will be administered in a professional and transparent manner. The program will be financially sustainable and viable. The program will be subject to audits and financial reporting. Bahamians are advised to take advantage of this initiative. We continue to encourage Bahamians to save a portion of their monthly income and to make wise financial decisions without sounding intrusive. We also wish to encourage Bahamians to avoid excessive consumer loans and to create monthly financial budgets.
During her contribution in the House of Assembly earlier this month, the minister first introduced the program, noting that the pilot phase of the development will be rolled out on the island of Abaco. Today, she explained that both Grand Bahama and Abaco are priority due to the amount of homes lost after Hurricane Dorian.
We were getting a lot of queries from the island, specifically Abaco and Grand Bahama, where Hurricane Dorian affected mostly, and there's been a low rate of persons getting back on the job. This would be a great initiative to help them still achieve the dream of becoming home ownerships. Additionally, we have a lot of self-employed persons that live on the Family Island, and it's been quite difficult for them to secure financing to get a mortgage, but they've been doing quite well in their businesses, and so this is also good to help and assist them.
The housing minister explained how interested persons can register for the program.
I wish to advise members of the public about the following. Registration for the Rent-to-Own initiative will open the first week in November. Applications will only be received through the website. That is www.mothbahamas.com. This is to ensure full compliance with internal controls and quality assurance. A communication will advise members of the public on the opening of the registration period, which we expect to have ready by the first week in November.
In other news, shanty towns on Abaco are expanding and have nearly doubled in size in the wake of Hurricane Dorian due to more Haitian nationals migrating to the island. As immigration officials work to tackle this issue, the Abaco Chamber President says it is out of control and puts Abaco residents at a disadvantage. Here's that report. After a recent operation on Abaco revealed that shantytowns had expanded, with one of the illegal communities growing up to 200 acres since the passage of Hurricane Dorian back in 2019. President of the Chamber of Commerce on Abaco, Daphne Miolis, says the situation is out of control.
To grow in such a short period up to 200 acres on the farmland with, mostly illegal residents, it's out of control. If you go to the food store, if you count 7 out of 10 people are speaking Creole. You go to the National Insurance Office, same thing. Bahamians are waiting for service, but there's like 3, 4, 5 Haitian nationals in front of you.
The chamber president attributes the burden on the education system, the healthcare system, and others, as well as the limited resources available to Abaconians, to the hike in immigrants on the island.
All of these systems are being burdened because once they're here, they find a way to get into using all of our resources that Bahamians are having difficulty, getting the benefit of.
Minister of Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Keith Bell, recently announced that his ministry is working vigorously to control the immigration and shantytown issue on Abaco by deploying more immigration officers to the island. Assistant Director of Immigration for the Abaco District, Stephen LaRota, pledging the department's allegiance to strictly enforce their mandate to crack down on illegals entering the borders.
At the Department of Immigration, we will be determined to execute our mandate. We will process applications that come to us, and we will facilitate those lawful applications, and we will pursue vigorously those persons who are in our jurisdiction that do not need to be here, and anyone who is in breach of the Immigration Act.
However, the chamber president raises another serious concern that contributes to the issue of immigration.
One thing that really concerns me is the fact too that a lot of I didn't realize that they were issuing general work permits. Like, they need to be specific. If you import somebody to work, your work permit needs to say who you're working for, and you're required to work on that property, not for everybody.
In observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, our ZNS Northern Service launches the Pink Pumpkins for the Cure charitable campaign today. We decided to put a humanitarian spin on Halloween activities while recognizing breast cancer awareness. Our Aja Quant reports.
Schools here on Grand Bahama have joined in the fight for the cure, pumpkin style. The team here in the north at ZNS have all come together to launch a charitable campaign consisting of an exhibition where the public will be allowed to donate to their favorite pumpkin. Senior Deputy General Manager at ZNS Northern Service, Allison Smith, says, in keeping with the corporation's vision, which is to educate, inform, entertain, and empower, the team have entered the third quarter with a mandate to produce ideas and initiatives to highlight or bring awareness to a cause.
Anything that we can do as an organization, as a community, to bring awareness to a cause helps to assist in those who have lost loved ones to the fight, those who are still fighting, and those who have risen above the fight.
The first cause being breast cancer awareness. Marketing manager Sabrina Brown says that schools have been invited to participate by creating and submitting a pink pumpkin to ZNS. The pumpkin with the most donations will be rewarded.
The public is invited to view the exhibition and give a donation to their favorite pumpkin. 10 schools have confirmed their participation in this campaign. And we would also like to say a big thank you to those who have responded to the call. And they are Central Christian Academy, St. Paul's Methodist College, Freeport Gospel Chapel School, Walter Parker Primary, Maurice Moore Primary, Bartlett Hill Primary, Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy, Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy, Jack Hayward High School, and the St. George's High School.
At the end of the campaign, proceeds will be donated to the Cancer Association and the Mammogram Access Program.
Over the past 20 years, the screening rate has taken a nosedive, and so this is our effort to try and get those screening rates back up because early detection is key.
And President of the Cancer Association, Norma Headley, says that she is grateful as this donation will be poured back into the Grand Bahama community.
Well, it's good that the young kids are being educated about cancer in one form or another, and I think it's a good idea, and I hope to continue for the next couple of years.
The ZNS Northern Service is appealing to residents in the community to support this cause. The pumpkins will be on display at ZNS on Mondays and Tuesdays, on the first floor of the Harold de Gregory building on Wednesdays, and at Raven Mall on Fridays, beginning October 17th for 1 month. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Thanks, Aja. Well, October is also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and an advocate is speaking out tonight in an exclusive with our Aja Quant on her experience losing her baby at birth, the ways to overcome, and the support rendered to other women sharing the same experience. Here's that story.
The month of October is the time to honor and remember those who have lost a child during pregnancy or in infancy. According to advocate Shanique Ferguson, 1 in every 4 women experience this loss. This year's campaign, Never Be Still, aims to break the silence surrounding stillbirth and other pregnancy or infant losses by educating the public about ways to support bereaved families and empowering mothers going through such loss.
Stillborn babies are stillborn still, and I just wanted persons to know that it is a hard process. It's very hard going through it and dealing with a loss after carrying your child for such a long time, and feeling it and getting anxious and all of the great things that you were expecting once they would have come into this world, to now live with the whys or just dealing with the death.
And on July 23rd of 2021, at just 8 months, Shanique experienced the unimaginable. What would have been a quick visit to the Rand Memorial Hospital quickly turned into a life-threatening experience where she had to be airlifted to Baptist Hospital in the United States, and doctors immediately took her into emergency surgery.
Everything just went south, and I just wanted to know where my baby was.
The nurses brought baby Ava Rose to her mother and placed her in her arms.
That was my first and last time holding my baby.
Although Shanique says she's naturally a happy person, she was instructed to seek professional help to work through this loss.
I got to experience different types of emotions and actually go through the motions, and that would have helped me out a lot.
Now she has turned her pain into purpose, advocating and educating persons on this subject. Shanique encourages mothers who are experiencing grievances to not only seek help, but to lean on the support they have.
I'm not going to be silent, and I wanted to break the silence to other mothers to know that, listen, I'm here, and you have others as well that you can talk to. You also have to talk about it. It makes it easier to talk about it. And find a support staff. You have to have that system there for when you're feeling or you're crying 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, that someone that can be there for you.
Meanwhile, October is for breast cancer awareness, and Shanique says she's not trying to take away from it. However, she would like for the public to include this awareness, celebrating the pink while incorporating the blue for babies who are now angels. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
When we come back, a local primary school hosts Literacy Week, and one of our very own from the ZNS Northern Service team made a special appearance. Stay tuned. Grand Bahama project has been extended. I'm Simone Davis of the ZNS Northern Service, and I'm wearing pink to remind those fighting breast cancer that you are not alone, and we are on this journey with you in hope, strength, and love.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. On Thursday, Central Christian Academy celebrated Literacy Week under the theme Launch into Literacy, Oh, the Places We Will Go. The observation is to encourage the exploration of literacy in its various forms and to inspire students and their families to make reading a part of their daily routines. Vice Principal LaShanta Dean shares the purpose of Literacy Week and the idea behind the importance of implementing good reading habits by seeing prominent public figures in the community show interest in reading.
And the purpose of celebrating Literacy Week is to raise awareness for reading, of course, and comprehension of reading, and also to foster good reading habits for our children.
Among parents and students, our very own ZNS Northern Service anchor Remiko Knowles made a special appearance, entertaining the students as an honorary reader. President of the Pilot Club of Lucaya, Anthea Cooper, and Senator Kirkland Russell were also in attendance.
All right, hard work no matter what stage. If you really want to make it, it takes hard work no matter what stage. All right, give yourselves a round of applause.
If we are going to continue to move to where God has us to move to, and where we can move, there is no doubt that literacy, education, has to be the foundation.
So we want to encourage stimulation of the brain. So that's one of the reasons why we're here today.
The Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy is celebrating about a dozen high school students who excelled in the BJCs in the previous academic year. The students passed with A's and B's, which allows them to sit their BGCSEs earlier. School Principal Michelle Bain expressing her joy for the students.
We have students here who got 6 A's in one sitting, 5 A's in one sitting, 4 A's in one sitting. So we just thought it would be fitting to let the nation know that we are not just a sports school, and that is something that I am pushing as the principal of this school, that everybody knows that we do take academics very seriously.
For the students, it was certainly a sigh of relief, and they are confident as they look forward to preparing for their BGCSEs.
It's more of a sigh of a relief because I don't have to go through the stress to do that again. Basically, I was prepared with all my teachers pushing hard so that I could take my BGCs and pass it and wouldn't have to do it in grade 10.
I was really scared before I took it, so it was really satisfying when I realized that I passed all of them and that I got 5 A's.
And it was a very good experience, a big accomplishment for me. You know, I've studied very hard, so to accomplish the A's, I was very excited.
I'm very excited that I accomplished this. I plan to take every chance I get to take them so they can pass all with A's.
I felt that it was very satisfying that I got 6 A's, and I'm elated on my accomplishment.
The Mount Zion Church Women's Mission Group announcing plans for 2 major events this month. The first, a fun run walk for breast cancer awareness, which will be open to the entire island. Participants are expected to line up for the fun run walk on Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, while students gather to compete at 7 a.m. Race organizer and a member of Mount Zion Baptist Church, Sandra Lang, explains that besides a health fair sponsored by Doctors Hospital in 8 Mile Rock, it will be an exciting time for everyone participating.
We're going to leave the church grounds, heading east to 8 Mile Rock, the entrance of 8 Mile Rock Corner. Turning right onto the first corner, which we call the Ritz Corner. Then we're going to head back towards St. Stephen's Church, coming back out the corner by Texaco, not Texaco, but Focal, and heading back to the church grounds.
Pamela Thomas is responsible for the prayer breakfast, which is another fundraiser slated for later this month.
We want to feed the physical, mental, and the holistic man. And so we are hosting a prayer breakfast at the end of October, the 29th, at 8 a.m. at our Mount Zion Baptist Church, Mother Loretta Center. And we invite the community to come. It is a fundraiser so that when we do ministry, that we would have funds to assist those that are in need.
Now, once again, the prayer breakfast will take place on Saturday, October 29th at 7 a.m. And now it's time for your Friday check on sports with Shane Stubbs.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to sports. Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers will close out their preseason schedule tonight, but first, let's take a look at some volleyball.
Over at the St. George's Gymnasium, the Oriole Knowles Rosina Nesbitt High School Volleyball League action continued. In junior girls play, the Tabernacle Falcons continuing the roll as they took care of the Jack Haywood Junior Stars in 2 sets, winning 21-11 and 21-18. After dropping the first set to the Lucaya International Buccaneers 19-12, the 8 Mile Rock Blue Jays rallied to win that match 2 sets to 1, 21-15 and 15-11. In senior girls action, the Sunland Baptist Stingers made short work of the Mary Star Crusaders, winning both sets 21-16 and 21-17. Closing out the day, the Falcons handled their business against the Jack Haywood Wildcats in 2 sets, 21-11 and 21-19. Switching to the NBA, Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers will close out their preseason schedule this evening when they take on the Houston Rockets. The Pacers have played their way to a 2-1 record thus far, with Hield averaging 9 points on 39% shooting from the field. The Pacers will open the regular season against the Washington Wizards this coming Wednesday. And lastly in sports, the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association Championship Series will continue this weekend at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex softball field. Kellys will take on the Rand Shockwavers in corporate action this Saturday in Game 1 of their Best of 7 series, followed by Game 1 between the Immigration Enforcers and the Pats Uniform Reds. On Sunday, Ally faces off against the Pats Uniform Reds in ladies action, and closing out the evening, it will be a slugfest between Express Food Mart when they go head-to-head with the Pats Uniform Reds.
And that is a quick update on sports, ladies and gentlemen. I am Shane Stubbs. Be safe and have a great weekend.
My name is Olivia Sweeting, and I am a breast cancer survivor. One of those persons who didn't make it out of it because is my daddy. My dad had cancer, and the cancer that I had wasn't hereditary. They have something where they test you for a BRCA gene, and if you're positive, that means it's hereditary. If it's not, which it wasn't, he didn't make it out. So that was one of my concerns too. I had no knowledge that he had it. He hid it well, and from my understanding, he had it since I was a little girl. I thought initially it was pancreatic cancer, but I later on found out when I had my gallbladder removed just the other day actually, that my mom, she was like, I hear you keep saying it's pancreatic cancer, you know it was gallbladder cancer that he died from. I remember at the time I was on my way to a bowling alley, and he called me to see how I was doing, and I was like, hey Dad, because I think it's just another conversation, and I was like, I am on my way to the bowling alley, I'll call you later, just shooing him off the phone. Not knowing that would have been the last day I talked to him. If anybody knows me, my dad was my best friend. My dad used to do my hair when I was small. When I got my first menstrual cycle, my dad knew, and I lived with my mom. And I called him and asked her, and I was like, Dad, something happening now, I don't know what to do. That feeling I felt when my dad died, I just knew I could not allow my daughter to go through the same thing.
Sporting event is mainly to bring, awareness to breast cancer. I'm Shane Stubbs, and I am wearing pink to remember those we lost and to salute those still fighting. I am also wearing pink to remember the doctors and nurses who are working tirelessly to make sure our loved ones who may be battling this disease come out on the winning end.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Tanya Monroe, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you so much for your continued support, and we wish you a special happy birthday from the ZNS Northern team. And another special happy belated birthday to my beautiful grandmother, Mavis Victoria, who celebrated her birthday on Wednesday. And lastly, we want to send an early happy birthday to Alice Morley DeVoe of Abaco, who celebrates 89 years tomorrow. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the national report, cholera case sparks caution. Stench back to expanded price control list. The police force human arsenal strengthened. And in sports, Mother Nature affects softball championships. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Thanks for tuning in. The country on high alert for additional cases of cholera after a 52-year-old Bahamian man was confirmed to have the illness. Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, have confirmed, though, that since then, healthcare facilities have seen no other cases. Now, as for the 52-year-old we mentioned, while we have been told he had a travel history, Darville says that was not to Haiti, which is facing an outbreak of the extremely virulent disease. The ministry is conducting surveillance to ensure this case is an isolated one. According to the minister, it's also working closely with the Pan American Health Organization as this case has signaled the country's need for further measures.
We have an emergency protocol that we can activate in the event that we have cases that supersedes these isolated cases. They are available not only in New Providence, but also Grand Bahama. And our team on the Family Islands are also on high alert on how do we isolate the cases. And so these are standard medical protocols that our healthcare providers have the ability to activate in the event that we do have an outbreak.
Now, all things considered, the Minister of Health is advising residents to be aware of the potential for more cases and arm themselves to prevent infection.
That means that you have to practice the appropriate protocols, hand washings, to ensure that you are able to protect yourselves and your families. But at this particular point, there's no need for no great alarm. But I want the residents of Bahamas to know that our neighbor in close proximity, there's an outbreak, and there's always the possibility. And so for us in the healthcare industry, we must be mindful of what is around us and begin to prepare for any possibility of any possible outbreak. So at this particular point, we're on alert. Proper hygiene, hand washing, proper cleanly water. Make sure you drink water that is well protected. Be careful of well water. All of these things are potential risk factors.
Now, cholera has been added to the growing list of health emergencies threatening the region, on the verge of being cholera-free. At last count, Haiti had 32 such cases and 18 deaths. You can add to that the 260 cholera cases still awaiting confirmation, according to PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne, who adds that nearly 1/4 of the cases are children between the ages of 1 and 4 years old. However, standing in the way of humanitarian assistance is Haiti's ongoing social and political unrest. Now, for its part, PAHO has donated 2 tons of medical supplies and cholera kits to Haiti. Etienne says it also stands ready to assist with vaccine supplies. Sadly, cholera, just one of 4 health issues PAHO officials are forced to keep an eye on. Also increasing by the day are cases of monkeypox, which according to PAHO's count are now at 45,000 cases within the region, 63% of the cases reported globally. The good news is that these numbers are slowing down. In other news, it seems the government's in for a fight with retail grocers over its decision to expand the price control list, and to do so within just days of the Prime Minister making the grand announcement during his televised national address this past Tuesday. Now, what was revealed at the time is that dozens of new items will be subject to price controls, and for at least a 6-month period. After that, the government is expected to review and evaluate the impact on consumers and retailers. But Retail Grocers Association President Philip Bennaby is predicting such a move will not only devastate the industry, but the jobs of hundreds, as told to the Tribune. Social media reports indicate that the retailers are even ready to reduce product lines, staff, and operating hours, and close on Sundays if the issue is there's no resolution. Now, hoping to diffuse the situation, Press Secretary Clint Watson today confirmed that the Prime Minister will head into a meeting with the group as early as next Tuesday.
When we talk about being able to find relief, that is something that's number 1 on Prime Minister's list for the Bahamian people. Providing relief for the Bahamian people. Food services, access to food is important for our people. And so there must be a way to be able to manage how we're able to ensure that people can afford to go to the grocery store and purchase goods so that they can have food for them and their families. That's important. But what Prime Minister has done through his administration is put relief in place for retailers and wholesalers. There has been a reduction on customs, imports, and duties on food. That's specifically so that these retailers and wholesalers can feel some relief themselves, and the consumers hopefully will be passed on that relief. That's just one initiative to allow there to be some balancing of what we've seen happen with inflation. Prime Minister will talk to them. And one of the things he will convey to them is we want to provide an environment where retailers can thrive, but also where consumers and Bahamians can only thrive, but they can survive.
Now, once again, that meeting is set for next Tuesday. We can also tell you the government's moving ahead with its rent-to-own initiative, which ultimately seeks to make it a bit easier for Bahamians to secure a place to call home using another avenue. Housing Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, touts a place to call home as a sustainable, financial, viable solution, specifically for the employed and self-employed.
A place to call home gives Bahamians the opportunity to save up for their first dream home while living in it at the same time. Over an agreed fixed period, not longer than 36 months, rent will be paid to the Department of Housing. A portion of the rent will go towards a down payment for the mortgage, property maintenance, and insurance costs.
Well, between $250,000 and $1 million worth of supplies are still missing. Money earmarked to assist in Abaco's continued efforts to recover 3 years post-Hurricane Dorian.
We just completed a inventory exercise, and so I'll say that there's a good amount of things that are missing to do with the Dome City and with other projects.
Well, Abaco police recently found some of the supplies at a church. Disaster Reconstruction Authority Chairman Alex Storr assures they'll be relentless in finding the rest.
Those supplies are at the DI warehouse. We are putting measures in place to go after more supplies that we feel are missing, that some were part of that and some may be part of other things. But we are putting measures in place to go after everything that the DRA has that is out there that's not in our possession right now.
Well, speaking of Hurricane Dorian, as a small island developing state, the government's long been concerned about the country's potential rise in sea level. The issue, a key talking point at the Disaster Risk Reduction Conference when one of our disaster management partners revealed their latest statistics. Altavis Munnings tells us more.
The Pacific Disaster Center's most recent detailed model on sea level rise shows that by the year 2050, over 23,000 residents of the Bahamas could be exposed to sea level rise. This phenomenon is defined as an increase in the level of the world's oceans due to the effects of global warming. And this, according to PDC's Global Operations Director, Dr. Aaron Huey, is very different from coastal flooding and storm surge.
What we're looking at is sea level rise, water that will not be receding. And so it is very striking when you look at, Andros, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and definitely New Providence.
Dr. Huey was in town to participate in this week's Disaster Risk Reduction Conference, where she shared this data from the National Disaster Preparedness Baseline Assessment on the Bahamas.
You've got king tides or coastal flooding, which seems to be getting worse, right? And then as the storms, you have Francis and Jean and Wilma, and not to mention Keene and Dorian. And the storm surge you're seeing is much worse. Part of that is related to the fact that the ocean temperature is warming and the seas overall are rising. And they're rising everywhere, right? It's not just rising in the Bahamas.
What's really going to happen is a slow increase of water shorelines shrinking, and it all can be attributed to climate change.
There will be increases in fires, wildland fires or bushfires. There's going to be maybe not increases in the total number of hurricanes, but you're going to see more intense hurricanes, more Dorians, unfortunately. And then, of course, as we're changing, you'll have extreme temperatures, more drought, which can then impact food security and other elements of life in the islands.
On Thursday, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis presented Dr. Huey with a plaque to thank the Pacific Disaster Center for more than 20 years of assisting the Bahamas with disaster management. I'm Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Tropical Storm Carl barely hanging on to tropical storm status. At 5 o'clock, it was back in winds of 40 miles per hour as it begins to move inland over the north coast of southeast Mexico. Further weakening is expected, and Carl could become a tropical depression and dissipate before Sunday. Now, over in the far eastern Atlantic, we're also monitoring disorganized area showers and thunderstorms to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. The probability of this system has decreased from last evening, down now to 10%, and that's because it's running into some hostile atmospheric condition with the presence of some Sahara dust and some upper level wind shearing, which is not conducive for any kind of development over the next couple of days. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
A juvenile, the country's latest victim of an apparent suicide in Adastra Estates here in the capital Thursday afternoon. Police disclosing that a family member found the teen boy unresponsive with a sheet tied around his neck. Police are still uncertain of the circumstances surrounding the incident. Meantime, they're appealing to anyone who may have suicidal thoughts or dealing with situations that seem unbearable to reach out to the Crisis Center on Sands Lane and East Street, the Community Counseling and Assessment Center on Collins Avenue, a pastor, school guidance counselor, or teacher. On 99 recruits, 71 males and 28 females making up the latest cohort of Royal Bahamas Police Force officers. The men and women of squads B, C, D, E, and G 2022 officially joining the ranks of the 182-year-old organization by taking on the pledge to serve with courage, integrity, and loyalty. Their commencement comes as officials have touted the need to rebuild the force's manpower and as the country continues to battle a crime wave. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez says the newest officers will prove to be a valuable asset.
As a matter of fact, you are the beginning to an end. You are an elite group of individuals who have chosen a better path in life, a path that adds value to your country, a path of service over self. You have answered the clarion call of the nation, and now you have to put in the work to protect and serve, to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, to stand up and offer hope.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro.
As we take an in-depth examination of what is happening in this country and by extension this region and global current events, we must understand the significant role and responsibility that our law enforcement agencies play in safety and security by protecting our citizens and residents, protecting our national borders, and the natural connection of linking community development and sustainability to smart policing.
Well, the National Security Minister's hitting back at criticisms from opposition officials regarding the government's strategy on tackling the recent wave of crime. Speaking to press at the Royal Bahamas Police Force commencement ceremony Thursday, the National Security Minister called the comments of opposition leader Michael Pintard nothing but a game of petty politics, adding that the ministry has and is in the process of deploying a number of strategies, including ramping up the number of squad cars on streets throughout the country and programs aimed at stopping persons before they can become offenders. In his comments on Wednesday, the opposition leader also asked the government to account for its rationale behind sending officers to the Turks and Caicos Islands. All those comments addressed by Minister Munro.
It's as simple as that. It's rich for the opposition, who let the police force run down in numbers, who stopped all of the diversionary programs, where when I took the chair, we had problems having cars on the road for saturation patrols. We've responded quickly. They don't know what the response looks like because they don't know how to deal with crime. So they don't understand that you have to put policemen on the streets, so you have to recruit. This is another recruit class. The portal is open. We're recruiting another squad, and we'll recruit another squad. We have vehicles we put on the streets. We met 160 cars laid up in the police garage. We're getting them on the streets to the family islands. We met the programs stopped. We've restarted them, and we're introducing new ones. Shortly, you will see the introduction of the HYPE program to intervene with primary school students. They don't understand what we're doing because they don't understand what a crime strategy looks like. I understood they said that we shouldn't deploy to Turks and Caicos. They can't be real, they can't be sensible. We already trained Turks and Caicos police officers. Squad A graduated, was of Turks and Caicos officers. In the first week of operations, they've already arrested a person wanted in the Bahamas, in the Turks and Caicos.
Well, on a lighter note this evening, labor officials are hoping to attract some 2,000 job seekers to top companies throughout the country. Labor on the Blocks 2.0 job fairs all set for tomorrow, Saturday, October 15th at the Anatole Rogers High School between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. The initial intent was to host residents of the Southern Shores and South Beach constituencies only. However, Labor Director Robert Farquharson's inviting all unemployed Bahamians to attend.
So many men and women has found alternate employment coming out of the pandemic. They're now working from home, doing other things. So these companies are now seeking to hire people, and so we want to encourage job seekers. Come out. You don't have to be. You can be registered there. The staff of the Department of Labor will register you. If you are not sure about you have the ability, the National Training Agency will train you. We'll prepare you for the job. The idea is that the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Labor and Immigration is committed to finding job opportunities for persons seeking job opportunities.
Now, high schoolers are also invited to register. They can gain dual enrollment at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute.
Those young men and women in grade 10, in grade 11, who may not have the BGCSEs, they may not meet the criteria for a high school diploma. But if they come to the job fair, they can enroll at BTVI. They can spend 80% in the high schools, 20% at BTVI. They can learn a skill of masonry, or learn a skill of welding. We hire, the minister has to approve hundreds and hundreds of work permits for qualified welders in this country. If we can get the young men and women certified from grade 10, by the time they graduate at grade 12, they can have those jobs.
In other news, the government will be working to improve services within the ophthalmology department at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville, who spoke at a World Sight Day symposium at the Church of God of Prophecy, East Street, Friday morning, says when the current administration assumed office, he found PMH's ophthalmology section wanting. Even today, Darville says he still feels calls from residents unable to access services. Now, while those reasons are complicated, Darville promises these problems will be addressed.
I want to let the general public know that the department is under very close review, and a lot of the equipment that we found inoperable in order for our patients to have access to these services have now been ordered. And with the guidance of Dr. Green and her team, we intend to get our services at a level that is acceptable for our customers to be able to have the necessary care to prevent further or preventable eye diseases in the public sector.
The theme of this year's symposium, hosted by the Bahamas Society of Ophthalmic Nurses, is Love Your Eyes. The association's president, Italia Gordon, and director of ophthalmology at the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Anna Green, spoke to the significance of the occasion.
The symposium today seeks to bring awareness and promote the prevention of avoidable blindness.
Currently recorded by the World Health Organization that at least 2.2 billion people suffer with visual impairment. Further, in at least 1 billion of these cases, or in almost half of these individuals, it is reported that the vision impairment could have either been prevented or has not yet been addressed.
Today also observed as World Standards Day, a day providing a global platform to celebrate the influence standards have to transform the world. This year's theme, Shared Vision for a Better World, Standards for SDGs, highlights that more than ever, it's critical for professionals to work together, preserve the planet, and ensure the prosperity of future generations through standardization. The Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality has already made strides in helping the country's progress toward meeting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals aimed at developing a sustainable economy, addressing systemic inequalities, and mitigating the effects of climate change. And the results are in from this week's poll question, but before revealing those, here's a reminder of what was asked. Do you practice energy conservation to assist in reducing your monthly electricity bill? Well, on Facebook, 82% of you said yes, 18% no. Twitter saw 95.5% of you as yes, the other 4.5% no. And on our website, yes pulled in 73%, 26.9% no. As always, thanks for participating. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more after the break.
Well, I don't call it work. I call it an experience. It is nice. I love it. I never left the island to go nowhere work because I enjoy taking people out on tours and having the experience with them. What makes Long Island unique is we have a nice culture. We have beautiful beaches, beautiful land. We are quiet, peaceful. I give the eco tours, snorkeling, deep sea fishing, sightseeing, and excursions to Georgetown. My tours are special because of the beautiful waters, fishing, and also the excursions down through the snakes. Like the expression on people's face when they get to the opening of Kong Point, everyone's mouth drops open. Been around the world, they say, but they never say nothing as beautiful as through the snakes.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse with my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It's the start of a mission to reduce hunger in the country and at the same time reduce the country's reliance on food imports. Although in its early phase, officials are hoping that in the coming years, their effort will reap dividends. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
50,000 backyard farms in the next 3 years is a targeted goal of the Agricultural Development Organization and the Church Commercial Farming Group. It's a joint partnership to encourage backyard and community farming with the end goal of eliminating the country's food insecurity and encouraging Bahamians to grow more of what they eat. Having already purchased 5,000 backyard farming kits, Executive Chairman of the Agricultural Development Organization, Philip Smith, believes they are on the way.
Cost us $100,000 to roll out 5,000. So it's going to cost us $2 million approximately to roll out 50,000. So I'm hoping with my assistant chairman, my deputy chairman, that we will raise this $2 million within the next 4 to 5 months.
To meet the target, teenagers are also being brought into the fold. Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, presented 25 of 100 backyard farming kits distributed to students during a ceremony held at the rear of the Assemblies of God office complex Thursday. Sweeting sees the initiative as important, suggesting the country must take agriculture seriously, particularly amidst the ongoing challenges of inflation.
Know the challenges that our people face when it comes to purchasing food. And we also know that Bahamians are working harder than ever to put food on the table for their families. The Bahamas continues to import more than 90% of our food, which leaves us vulnerable to disruptors like climate change, shipping challenges, and rising inflation. The backyard farming kits being distributed here today will assist with those challenges. And backyard farming simply brings your food closer to your table.
With the backyard farming stage of the initiative launched, Smith says in 6 to 8 weeks, the aim is to get 10 community farms off the ground, and those will be managed by churches and feeding organizations. Chairman of the Church Commercial Farming Group, Reverend Patrick Paul, anticipates the initiative will play a major role in advancing the cause of food security in the country.
Within 5 to 7 years, that we're going to have at least 25% of that 97% of import cut down, at least 25%. And if field have anything to do with it, I think we can be close to 45%.
For the Bahamas Tonight,
I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Pinewood's precious pearls gather every Tuesday, but this week's meetup was pushed to Friday to accommodate a pre-birthday celebration for their MP, the Honorable Miles LaRota. Raised by his paternal grandparents, LaRota, who actually turns 58 on Sunday, says he has an affinity for seniors.
I thought it would be fitting for me to start my birthday celebrations with the seniors of Pinewood, a great bunch of ladies. This group of ladies, they provide a lot of support. They come by the office, they visit me, they always encourage me. Pastor Evans, who is a community leader here, would always come and pray with me. And I think it'd be good to just give back to let them know that I appreciate them and their effort and their support that they have given me for the past year. We have in this room a lot of civil servants. Some of them work in the private sector. These were community builders, and they still have a lot to offer. They are very, very, very encouraging. They are not high maintenance, and they just want for their community to be run properly. They are interested in things that benefited the community itself, and not them personally, and that's what I have an appreciation for.
Well, from spending some time with Pinewood seniors, the area's MP provided words of encouragement to students at Cleveland Enyas Primary School as part of the Ministry of Education's anti-violence seminar. The event served as a dual purpose as the school body helped the Honorable Miles LaRota celebrate his birthday with a rendition of Happy Birthday and a cake cutting. LaRota, a lawyer by profession and a product of the public school system, encouraged students to make the most of their education, and nothing will stand in their way of future success.
Be proactive. Do your studying now. Put in your hard work now. Listen to your teacher now. Control the situation now, so that when that time comes, those of you in grade 6 years from now, if the Lord should not tarry, you'd be faced with a decision of which university I'm going to go to. And depending on your exam grades, that takes a lot of pressure off of your parents. A university degree in the States is going to run you up to $200,000. There's a lot of people in the Bahamas that cannot afford that. But you think education is expensive? Try not being educated.
Acting Principal Yolanda Roll says LaRota always insists on being present for events at the school, adding that students are able to see someone prominent with a vested interest in them. As for the seminar, following students being out of the classroom environment for an extended period due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Roll says the Department of Education thought it necessary to reinforce what behaviors are acceptable when interacting with peers.
We found that since children have come back from COVID-19, there's a challenge with them knowing boundaries. And so we just want to let them know that there's some boundaries. If someone tells you no, then no is no. If someone says don't touch me, then don't touch me. Not only that, you do not have a right to violate another child. You don't have a right to hit them or kick them because you feel you don't like what they said, or even in terms of what we say. We have to guard our speech, how we speak to one another.
Well, here at the Broadcasting Corporation, we certainly wish the minister, our minister, an early birthday greeting. For you bookworms, a compilation of Bahamian sayings hit bookstores in Nassau. Grammy used to say, or Guts, is a book written in Bahamian dialect and authored by Bahamian Jeannie Roberta Gibson, a retired Ministry of Tourism employee. Now, according to Gibson, the collection of sayings are among those that were passed down to her grandmother, thus the name Grammy used to say. The sayings are common sense advice on life and living for people of all ages navigating the challenges of the times we live in. In addition to its availability in New Providence bookstores, copies are also in the local public libraries as well. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Our future is here. And no matter the result, we must come together. Together, we will innovate. Together, we will lead the way. Our future belongs to us. Happy Election Day, my fellow Bahamians. Leading the Bahamas in home improvement since 1973.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible, which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Tourism officials inspecting the Berry Island Airport set to open at year's end. Deputy Director of Tourism, Aviation and Investments and Acting Director of Aviation, Dr. Kenneth Romer, recently led a delegation on an inspection and assessment of the newly built airport terminal. He was accompanied by Bahamas Airport Authority Chairman Paul Bevins, General Manager Peter Rutherford, and other officials. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We are under cloudy skies with some light rain showers. Temperature 82 degrees, relative humidity at 82%. The winds out of the southwest at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,012.6 millibars. That's 29.91 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 78 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Turk, Key, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco. The Berry Islands at 83 degrees, 83 also in Alistown, Bimini. Harbor Island 81, Roxanne, Eleuthera 81 degrees, Black Point, Exuma, and Kemps Bay, St. Andrews at 86 degrees. Fresh Creek, Central Andrews, the Mercury column got up to 84 degrees, 81s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 83 degrees, 84 in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, McGorna, 86, Acklands, 86, Magic Town, and Nagua, 87, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, southwest to west wind. Speeds around 10 to 15 knots. The wave height stay holding at 2 to 4 feet. High tide takes place at 11:54 tonight with a low tide at 5:56 tomorrow morning. Now in the central and southeastern islands tonight, southeast to south winds at 10 to 15 knots and the wave height is 2 to 4 feet. And then Saturday through Sunday, that frontal system will go through. We'll talk about that later in the newscast. The winds becoming north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots behind the front. Wave heights holding at 2 to 4 feet. Now, low tide on Saturday and Sunday takes place at 5:56 in the morning with a high tide at 22 minutes past midday. And for the central and southeastern islands through Sunday, southwest to west winds 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
That man in the boat passing through. What you gonna do, that man in the boat
use the golden or not? Passing through. What you gonna do? Take the wine. Passing through. Hey, hey. I wine on something. Wine up on something. Shake up on something. Wine up on something. Now dance up on something. Wine up on something. Shake up on something. Wine up on something.
That's going to do it for your international temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for default credentials. Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
You'll be all smiles after shopping the aisles at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Ronzoni ready-cut macaroni, 16-ounce, $2.29. Rainbow mackerel, 15-ounce, $1.69. Cream-O-Land Homo milk, 1 gallon, $6.99. Whole chicken wings, $1.99 per pound. Generic bleach, 1 gallon, $3.99. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The Province Softball Association just can't catch a break with Mother Nature swinging into their championship series last night. The defending ladies champs, the Sunshine Oil Wildcats and RAB operators, halted in the bottom of the first inning when the skies opened and the game was called off. For Cats manager Tony Buller, despite the early night, he was glad to see the fight his team showed after the operators took the lead in the top of the first.
The team that they playing right now, you know, they pretty good. They for pound, all right. If you make a mistake, whoever made the mistake, they could lose. You understand me? And we started off a little shaky. We had a couple of errors, but we claw ourselves right back in the game. And if you notice, they start off with 2 runs and we run them down.
The Province Volleyball Association is back after being sidelined from early 2020. All the bumping and spiking action will resume on Sunday at the Donald Davis Gym.
We have 9 total teams in the league, 5 females and 4 males. We're excited to be starting volleyball after a 2-year hiatus. I know the players are excited to finally get in some real competition in instead of just playing, the conventional park volleyball. The defending champions in the male are the Warhawks. They'll be going up against the defenders, the runners-up from 2 years ago, and the defending champions in the females are the Panthers. And they'll be going up against the Lady Warhawks from 2 years ago, who are the runners-up. Our league will be running straight into the Bahamas games into next season, so we're hoping that a lot of volleyball in the next 6 to 7 months. There's also a beach tournament that the ministry is putting on, November 12th, I think it is. So that's also excited. So there's a lot of volleyball is happening. We're excited to be starting. We're asking our fans to come and support us.
QB Events Consulting and Marketing, in conjunction with First Class Promotions, will host the World Boxing Association super lightweight title fight between Canadian Jessica the Cobra Camara and Dominican Diana Santana, 8 p.m. on Friday, October 28th at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Now, in addition to the action in the ring, those Bahamians who have made a name for themselves in the sport will also be recognized.
We're looking to really honor Ray Minus in particular, and then we'll do a parade of local boxers. So you'll see individuals like Chuchu Maki and all the other guys that we'll kind of parade and pay homage to them at this event also. So we're looking forward to it, and like we said, this is an amazing event. It will be the first of its sort. It's so many of firsts. It's the first fight that we're doing in this country in many years on this level. So we're really excited. We're really excited to bring this forth. We're really excited to be here at no better place other than the National Stadium or the National Sports Authority to bring an event like this.
It still may be a ways away, but Carifta Fever already in the air. A call was made to local small businesses to come on board to support next year's track and field segment, which will be held right here in the Bahamas. And the first to come on board is Laura Williams Fruit Stand.
I have 3 grandchildren, and they are very active, and I want them to believe in faith.
When my grandmother, Laura Williams, was alive, she sponsored and want all young people have a future in especially sports to keep them occupied and out of trouble.
Coach Jolette McPhee-McQuinn, the Ole Miss Running Rebels women's basketball team, continuing to prepare ahead of their season opener later this month. Coach Joe recently mic'd up during a practice session as the Lady Rebels put in the work.
Make sure we're talking, make sure you're echoing sounds, and just be ready to be coached. Thank you for inviting me in. Thank you for opening up the door for me to get in. You need to be here and build a game. She'll come and sit at the bottom. Whatever you want, it's your world. Ladies, some of y'all don't know this about me. There's nobody bigger than the program, including me. There's nobody bigger than the program. There's nobody that's going to be allowed to do certain things and get away. The standard is the standard. 100?
The Bahamas Football Association Senior League in full swing. League Commissioner Larry Mans tells us how it's been going so far.
The overall recognition to play right now, I think the season has got to a pretty good start. I could say we're having a fairly degree of success. This is about the 4th week. We started charging the gate. There's an admission fee now, and they didn't have that for several years. But the teams are coming along pretty good, even the smaller teams like Cavalier and Baja Juniors are coming along. We have a league that consists of about 10 teams. We're going to have 2 rounds, and then what we have is a Hummel Cup.
Beyond the Senior League, soccer action continuing to flourish on other platforms as well.
Futsal is taking off. It's pretty good at Kendall Isaac Chimney. We have beach soccer's returning. Everybody wanted to know what we was doing with the stadium. The stadium is back alive. Coming back between the 21st and 23rd, we've got 4 teams in. We've got Trinidad, we've got Costa Rica, and we've got Colombia and the Bahamas. So it's going to be some heads-up match, and it's going to be every night. We also have women. We have the girls as well. We've got a team from Trinidad, I think it's Trinidad, Turks and Caicos Islands, and also the Bahamas.
Let's look at sports. Check on weather up next.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Hey guys, it's that time of year again, the Atlantic hurricane season. Are you ready? Here's another ZNS hurricane readiness tip to help you prepare. Edward Albury, Vice President with responsibility for claims at J.S. Johnson, tells us when we should update our home insurance policy and how to tell if we have enough coverage.
As far as your policy being updated and sufficient coverage, optimally you would want to make sure that your sums insured mirror the value of your property. And one of the ways to do that is to have a professional appraisal done at regular intervals, perhaps maybe every 3 years, so that you know what the value of your home is and you can match that to the sum insured.
Now, should we inform our insurer about any home improvements?
Well, obviously, anything that you do to your house, any improvements or whatever, you want to make sure and let your insurer know, because if you say, for example, you buy a generator or you add a section to your house, these changes change the values that are involved. And so your insurer should know so they can tell you whether or not your insurance should be adjusted to match the changes in the value. So any changes that change the risk, right, or the value of the properties, they should be updated and notified to your insurer.
This has been another ZNS Hurricane Readiness Tip to prepare you for the storm.
When a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it is extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor items like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings, opening only when absolutely necessary and closing quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so that small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Take pictures from inside where it is safe and dry. There is no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, a second round of prefrontal shower activity pushed through the northwest Bahamas this afternoon, now making its way into the central Bahamas. That will be followed by a weak frontal system, which will bring some milder temperatures over the next several days. Our forecast for tonight, we're going in for simply partly cloudy condition. 76 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow it's going to be a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine. A stray shower or thunderstorm still in the mix, particularly in the afternoon hours, with a high temperature just around 85 degrees. Extended weather forecast. Those showers should peak out sometime by Sunday, and we should see more sunshine in our forecast come Monday. Milder temperatures. We're going to get you into the low 70s during the nighttime and the mid 80s during the daytime, and that will continue right into next week when we expect a second frontal system. That one will come through sometime on Thursday morning. That too will reinforce the cool temperatures that we will start to experience by the early part of next week. Makishla?
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
Hola, disculpa por no llegar anoche, lo siento. He estado hace tiempo con ganas de decirte algo. Últimamente estoy lidiando con mis problemas de salud mental.
I think if there was no stigma around mental health, I'd be more open about what I'm going through on the inside. And I don't know. Maybe I'd find that other people in my life are actually going through the same thing.
Há alguns anos, comecei a contar para outras pessoas sobre minha ansiedade. Isso me ajudou a descobrir ótimas formas de como lidar com ela.
Soy muy sociable. Creo que si hablara sobre mis problemas de la salud mental, simplemente no lo creerían. Por eso no hablo de ello.
Me preocupa que si la gente se enterara de mi salud mental, pensarán que soy débil. Por eso me aislé. Pero creo que voy a cambiar esto.
watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.